Welcome back to FireFace Films. It is me, Samir, once again. It's been quite a while, I'd say so. But I'm back here, and I want to talk about something very interesting. Not necessarily a movie analysis. I want to pick something different. I want to talk about the change in cinema right now. What I mean by that is the way cinema is being digested. You know, for years, ever since Martin Scorsese made the comments about Marvel movies not being cinema, there's been a big divide about our comic book movie cinema. Are they not? Are they real movies? Are they just theme park, amusement type of fun deals? Thing is, whether you admit it or not, over the past recent years, comic book movies have dominated the box office, and it's been unfortunate because you go on TikTok, you go on Twitter, all people are talking about is comic book movies. As of recent, Everything Everywhere All at Once, the Oscar Best Picture winner, won, I believe, 7 Oscars. I actually did a video on this. I should know about it. Yeah, but it only made about $100 million in the box office, while Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a film that I wasn't particularly too fond of, made $1 billion. So I mean, it's like 2022, the most popular movies of last year were The Batman, Multiverse of Madness, Thor: Love and Thunder, and we had a little change. There was a little bit hint to change, Top Gun Maverick being the highest grossing movie of that year. So this change isn't particularly happening in 2023. So Top Gun Maverick making over $1 million in the box office. I just realized, no, Top Gun Maverick was not the highest grossing movie. It's Avatar: The Way of Water. Avatar: The Way of Water and Top Gun Maverick, both the highest grossing movies of that year. They weren't comic movies. Yes, they were franchise movies though, but we're seeing something positive here. But 2023, things have been a little different. I want to say the big corporations have been taking L's as of recently. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania barely made a profit. I don't even think it made a profit. It lost money. And Blue Beetle losing money. The Flash lost a lot of money. These comic book movies are losing money. Obviously, DC's a different story because we're going through a reboot. DC had a not so great track record, and we're in the midst of having these films that are not part of the continuity but are still being made, so there's not really much interest. Marvel, however, there's many things in factor being played. Superhero fatigue, comic book movie fatigue, and just the lack of faith within Marvel right now, so that's a thing. But also, I don't think a lot of Disney's movies are doing particularly great too. I think Elemental had a not so great run in the box office. It made a profit in the global box office run, but domestically opening weekend, it didn't really do the numbers that Disney was hoping for. And apparently Disney Plus is losing subscribers right now because there's no new content that people are being excited over. They're really banking on Ahsoka and Loki season 2 for the rest of this year. So which leads me to my next point is, what's making money this year? Crazy enough, the top 3 movies that are grossing the most amount of money in the box office are Barbie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and Oppenheimer. Barbie and Mario, pretty self-explanatory. They're existing IPs, Mario being the most iconic video game character of all time, and Barbie being an existing franchise. And I mean, the memes of Barbenheimer have been carrying this run. But Oppenheimer is a little interesting because this is not an existing IP, it's a biopic. And I mean, obviously, like, people are here for biopics, but Christopher Nolan has seemed to break this trend. I mean, the reason why I think this is very important is because we live in a day and age to where even star-studded directors are not being able to just sell these movies. Steven Spielberg in 2021 and 2022 has not been able to dominate the box office with West Side Story and The Fablesman, both critically acclaimed films nonetheless, by the way. It just didn't bring people in. Damien Chazelle, coming off of La La Land and Whiplash, was not able to turn a profit with Babylon. When Christopher Nolan drops a movie, it feels like an event. It feels like you have to be there. Like when Spider-Man No Way Home came out, it felt like an event. It felt like you had to be there. Barbenheimer, it was an amazing experience. If you want to hear about me and Yeshaya's thoughts on the Barbenheimer experience, check out our recent video on that topic. We did a full analysis on that. Oppenheimer made about $900 million globally, which is crazy. It's officially the highest grossing biopic, Christopher Nolan's highest grossing movie outside of the Dark Knight trilogy. So we're seeing a change. It's not an existing IP. It's not a franchise. Obviously, a lot of it had to go with the memes, but a lot of it also had to go with people like the movie. People want to see Nolan. This is going to be really important because we need to support these movies. In order for us to see amazing pieces of art, we have to support these other movies. Whether you support Christopher Nolan, whether you support smaller films by A24, or even bigger movies that are just made by like your favorite director like Guillermo del Toro, Martin Scorsese, Quentin Tarantino, we have to appreciate the art. If you don't want these corporately mandated superhero movies that go through the same story, the same origin, the same fight, the same big CGI monstrosities, then we gotta support these smaller scale films, or not even smaller scale films, even supporting these franchise films from other franchises. Another change, there's been a new thing, a new phenomenon that I want to mention, and that is the video game and anime curse being potentially lifted. This year we saw critical acclaim with The Last of Us on HBO Max. Pedro Pascal gives an amazing performance. It just nails the game to a T. There is love within the source material while also being its own thing. Not even just being a good adaptation. It was a phenomenal piece of TV. Obviously, one thing cannot break a curse for everyone. But then we have the Mario movie. The Mario movie, I'd say it was handled mixed. I mean, critics were not fond of it. Audiences loved it. In my personal opinion, I loved it. Whether it was critically acclaimed or not, it made $1 billion. And you know what Illumination's gonna do? Illumination's apparently working on not one, but 2 Legend of Zelda films. So there's clearly a market there. Obviously, the Sonic movies had success. I mean, Uncharted, I think, even had a little bit of success. But it's still been an avenue where people were like, why even bother making it? Why do it? But The Last of Us, people were like, oh my god, this is great. And it gives a lot of hope for Amazon's God of War series. At the end of the day, some video games tell their stories like movies. It can be done. But I mentioned anime, and you're thinking, no. Yes. Whether you like to admit it or not, One Piece has been getting critical acclaim. One Piece on Netflix, they did it. They paid love to the source material. They paid tribute to the source material. They worked with Oda, the mangaka of One Piece. The actors, oh my gosh, so they put love into the series. They understand how important it was to adapt such a beloved series, and how people would hate if they butchered it. And they did their part. It's amazing. It got renewed for season 2. But here's the problem. Maybe we're tired of these comic book movies. Not many people are even really excited for Secret Wars or Kang Dynasty. There's rumors of Tobey Maguire, Hugh Jackman, all these characters, all these iconic actors reprising roles and all these cameos. But guess what? We don't care because there's no substance. It just feels like a cash grab. There's no love to these stories anymore. I guess in a weird way, these studios feel like they could play it easy now. It's not like Iron Man 1 where everything was well thought out, everything was crafted. Now it's like cinema's changing. People want to see other things now. And I'm not saying this, I'm not trying to discourage anyone who enjoys comic book movies or superhero films. I think supporting other films will help with the quality of these movies. Because, I mean, personally, if I was like Bob Iger, I probably wouldn't care about pumping out these thought out, well-crafted movies if I know they're gonna make 800 million in the box office because people only talk about them on TikTok. People only want to see these movies. Because the thing is with the MCU, whether you like the movie or not, there's a sense of continuity where you feel like you have to watch each movie. But maybe 5 years from now, I'll be talking about how there's a video game movie fatigue or something like that. Maybe I'm gonna be tired of talking about, like, I don't know, the Devil May Cry live action movie that ever becomes a thing. But I'm really excited to see how cinema changes. I am Samir signing off. If you like this video, comment what your thoughts are. I want to know what kind of movies you want to see. Do you want to see more video game adaptations? Is there a video game adaptation you would like to see? Is there an anime adaptation you would like to see? Let me know. Sound off in the comments. And if you want to see more videos like this, if you want to see more short films like our amazing ones, subscribe, check out the channel. See you in the next time on FireFace Films.